Hi everyone, Anne from Glamour for You here. I'm going to show you how to work up my Starlet Market Bag. Here are the great stitches that I'm going to show you how to do today. This is the knot stitch. This makes up the base of the bag. It gives a great texture. And then I don't know if it's called the star stitch or not, but I'm going to call it the star stitch. And here it's worked up in 2 rows. Here are the split treble 2 together stitches, and then here are the V stitches, and I'll show you how to work those and where to place your V stitches. And then these are the knot stitches again, and then I'll show you where to place your handles. So let's get started. I'm working with just regular crochet cotton. It's Hobby Lobby's. I love this cotton. So it's a number 4 worsted weight cotton. You can use any yarn, any weight of yarn, as long as your crochet hook is the appropriate size for the weight of your yarn. In the pattern it says to chain, let me think, I don't have the pattern on me, 43, 1, 2, 3, yes. So it basically, it's going to be multiples of 4 plus 3. I'm going to do just a little swatch here so it won't be the full pattern. Twenty stitches. Okay, so I have 32, which is multiples of 4, and then I'm going to add 3 more, and then now I'm going to start my bag. So basically your beginning chain will be the width of your bag. So here's my beginning chain, here's the width of my bag. We're going to work around the chain and then around in the free loops to make the bag. So however many your beginning chain is, if you double that, it will be the total stitches of your bag. So the knot stitch. The knot stitch is a really fun stitch. You're going to yarn over. Wait for my camera to focus. Yarn over. You're going to insert your hook in the second stitch. So there's the first stitch. We're going to skip that into the second stitch. Second chain. Yarn over, pull up a loop, and then continue to draw that loop through that first loop on your hook. So now you have 2. Yarn over and pull through to complete the stitch. Now the pattern calls for 2 knot stitches in that second chain from hook. So I'm going to continue, yarn over, pull up a loop, continue to pull through. That makes the knot. See how there's a cute little bump right there? Yarn over and pull through. So I made 2 knot stitches in the second chain from hook. I'm going to work across, doing the same knot stitch across to the last stitch. I find it easier if I tilt my work a little bit, and when I pull this loop through that first loop on the hook, if I rotate my hook to get it through and then work like normal. Okay, so that's how you make the knot stitch. It makes a little bump at the bottom, and then there's your normal top 2 loops that you were going to work into. I'm going to continue across to the last stitch, and I will be right back. Okay, so I have completed all my stitches across my base chain stitch, my base chain, until the last chain stitch. So in the pattern it says to place 4 knot stitches in that last chain. One, keep splitting it, there it goes. 2, so I did 2, now I'm going to rotate it. 3, 4. Ooh, 4, there you go. So now I'm rotating. I'm going to now work in the remaining free loops from your beginning chain all the way across until I get to the stitch, the very first stitch where I put 2 knot stitches in. I'm going to work across and then put 2 in the last one. So basically you're going to have your singles, and each end will have 4 stitches in it, and that will make your round for the bag, and this will be the base. So now I'm going to continue to work my knot stitch. In the free loops. And I will be right back once I have that completed. Okay, so I've worked across the remaining free loops until the very last free loop. I'm going to place 2 knot stitches in that last stitch. So this end will have 4 and the other end had 4 knot stitches. And then I'm going to join to the very first knot stitch with a slip stitch. Join with a slip stitch. Now I have my completed round. Now all it says is to continue working up for, I think it was 12 rows in knot stitch. So I'm going to chain 1 in the same stitch that I joined to, make a knot stitch, and then in each stitch all the way around until you come back here, and then you'll join to the first knot stitch. And I will be back when I complete a couple rows And then we'll work on the split treble two together, and then the V-stitch. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I've worked a couple rows of the knot stitch to form the base. And this is what it looks like. Now we're going to do the first row of the body, which is the split treble two crochet, and it's split meaning that it's like an upside down V. So it's split open, but the top of the stitch is just one stitch, so it makes it a 2 crochet together, but it's split. There's one leg and there's the other leg. So the very beginning of the round, after you've joined your round from the knot stitch, you're going to make a beginning split treble 2 crochet. So that you're going to chain 3. This will count as the first leg of your split, beginning split. Yarn over twice. We're going to skip the next 3 chains. So because this counts, you don't count that first stitch. We're going to skip the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Insert hook in the next chain. Yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over once, yarn over, pull through once, yarn over, pull through twice, yarn over, pull through 3 times. So you're basically making a treble stitch. That is your beginning. So the top of the stitch will be the top 2 loops from the treble crochet. Okay, so then now you're going to chain 3, and now we're going to make the regular split treble 2 crochet. 2, is that right? Yeah, split treble 2 together. Yarn over twice. We're going to insert your hook in the same stitch from the last leg of the previous split stitch. Pull up a loop. You're going to work like you're working a treble crochet and pull through 2 loops until the last pull through. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over twice. Now we're going to skip 3. 1, 2, 3. Insert hook in your next stitch. Do the same thing. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops until the last pull through, which is now you'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. That is a split treble 2 together. So there's your beginning. Your legs are going to share a stitch, your last leg and your first leg, and there's the regular treble 2 together, split treble 2 together, and the chain 3 in between. So I'm going to work a couple more so you can see. Yarn over twice, insert in the same stitch as the last leg, yarn over, pull through twice. There's your you normally, for a treble crochet, you would normally pull through. You're not going to pull through. Yarn over twice. 1, 2, 3. Next one. Yarn over, pull through to your last pull through. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So that's creating, it's like an upside down V. Okay, you're going to work that same stitch across all the way around, and then I will show you when we get to the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. Show you what we do next. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I've worked all the way around until I'm to the last split stitch, split treble 2 together. I wanted to show you this last one working in the insert hook in the same leg as the previous. Work until the last pull through. Now skipping 1, 2, 3, and there's my very first stitch that I worked on. That is the last stitch. So each leg is going to share one stitch. So the very last split, you will insert your hook in the very first stitch, so they share the same stitch. Work your last split, chain 3, and then you're going to join with a slip stitch to the top of the beginning split. And that connects them. So every stitch, every leg shares one stitch, so they look like they're all connected. So then now we're going to do V-stitches. And in order to make it look like they share stitches there on the V, which is going to be the opposite, so there's the split. Now we're going to do V-stitch there. Opposite, we're going to work in the valley, inside the space of the V-stitch, or the split stitch, excuse me. So first thing we want to do is, there's our join. We're going to slip stitch in that join in the space of the split stitch before we start our beginning V-stitch, because we're going to work each V-stitch in the space of the previous split stitches. Okay, so I slip stitched in that space. Now I'm going to work a beginning V-stitch. So I'm going to chain 3, 4, 5, 6. Now what that beginning V-stitch is the first 3 chains are going to be your treble, and then the last 3 chains are going to be your space for the V-stitch. Then I'm going to work a treble in that same space that I started in. 1, 2, 3. So there's my first V-stitch. So the first 3 chains are the treble. There's your space. There's the other half of the V-stitch, and it's inside. We're working our legs inside the space. So now we're going to go to the next one. So we're going to skip this chain 3, go to the next space. There's the top 2 loops of the split stitch. I don't want to work in the top 2 loops. I want to work in the space. So I'm going to insert my hook in the space and work a V-stitch in that space. So the V-stitch is treble, chain 3, and treble in the space of the split stitch of the previous row before. So now I've made 2 V-stitches, and you can already see the pattern is forming of the star stitch. I'm going to work one more V-stitch, treble, chain 3, treble. Alright, I'm going to work all the way around till I get to the end, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've worked the last V-stitch in the last space of the previous split. So you can see how the pattern is forming. And then I'm just going to join my last V-stitch here. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. I'm going to join to the third chain because that would be the top of my treble crochet. And then there's the 3 chains for the V-stitch. And that's how you join that round. And then the rest of the pattern is super easy. You're going to chain 1, make 3 knot stitches in the chain 3 space. And then 1 knot stitch in the space between the V-stitches. There's my V-stitches. I made 3 in the space of the V-stitch, and now I'm going to make 1 in the space in between the V-stitches to get me back to my 4. My pattern repeat is repeats of 4. And do the same thing. 3 knot stitches in the chain 3 loop. And then 1 knot stitch in between, the space in between the V-stitches. And then you'll repeat and do another round of knot stitches on top, and then another round. So you have 3 rounds? Let me see. Yep, 1, 2, 3. So you have 3 rounds of knot stitches. So we've completed the base with the knot stitches, the split treble 2 together, the V-stitches, and then 3 rows of knot stitches. And then you just repeat. And by repeating these rows, you make the length of your bag, which you can alter that. So at the beginning you can alter the width of the bag to make it bigger, smaller, and then by repeating those rows you can alter the length of the bag. So then once you get to the top, however many rows you repeated, we're going to add a couple more rows of knot stitches just to give the top thickness of the bag. And then for the placement of the handles here, you're going to fasten off because the knot stitches tend to travel. The seam will travel. So when you lay your bag flat the way it is here, your ending point for the last row of the top of the bag will not be on the very edge. It will be back here more. So that's why I tell you to fasten off and then lay your bag flat. Find this very middle stitch, the stitch way in the center of the edge. Find the edge stitch, and we're going to count 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's where you insert your hook and join your yarn for the strap. And then the strap is very easy. You're going to work your 10 stitches back to the center plus 10 more, so that's 20 full stitches. Then you're going to turn and you're going to 20 full stitches of knot stitches on the front of the bag. When you turn working on the back, you're just going to work single crochet, because if you notice, the knot stitch makes a nice design on the front, but on the back it shows nothing. So the knot stitch itself is not a reversible stitch, so we'll only work the knot stitches on the front of the bag and just single crochets on the back of the bag when you're working on the back. So knot stitches, and then you're going to decrease with single crochets, and then knot stitches, decrease all the way. That forms this section. And then once you get to 6 stitches, you're going to continue until you like the length of the bag. And then you're going to do the opposite, where you're going to knot stitches. When you turn for single crochets, you'll work increases on each edge. So that will increase, and you're going to work that until you get back to 20 stitches. So you end at 20 stitches. Then you're going to attach fasten off at the end of your strap and lay your bag flat again. Mark the 10th stitch. You're going to lay your, like this is how I did it, how I slip stitch. Lay your strap, beginning of your strap, the 10th stitch from the edge. Slip stitch the strap all together to attach it to your bag. And then you'll just work an even amount of knot stitches around each opening. I started actually close to the edge, or close to the strap here, worked all the way around here, ended there, worked all the way around here, ended there. What I did is I did knot stitch, and then I did a row of slip stitch. What that does is, a slip stitch is a tighter stitch, so it helps so the handles won't stretch as much and stretch out the bag. So I did the knot stitch, and then I did slip stitch around, and I fastened off. And that's it. That is the Starlet bag. You can make them any sizes, any colors. You can switch colors. It would be very easy to switch colors and make just this design a pretty color, and use a main color for the knot stitches and an accent color for the star stitch of the pattern. And that's the Starlet. Thanks so much for watching, guys.